Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack the secrets companies try to bury in their filings. Get ready because today we're looking at a company that's basically been through a corporate identity crisis. Scroll form 8K consists reports grow. This is an 8K feeling which is like a company's urgent bulletin board for big important news. And boy does SigmaTron International have some big news. They've just been acquired and it's not just a handshake deal. This is a full takeover and it's not just a handshake deal. This is a full takeover and it means a lot of things are changing at lightning speed. Scroll is a report date of earliest event reported to July 28, 25 scroll. That's the action, all wrapped up on July 28, 2025. So what exactly happened? Well, SigmaTron International is no longer an independent company. They've been bought by Transom Access Acquire Co. LLC. Think of it like this, a bigger entity just swallowed them whole. Scroll pursuant to Section 13 or 15 of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 scroll. This filing is required by the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC to keep investors in the loop about major events that could affect the company's stock. And a buyout is about as major as it gets. Current stock $0.01 par value per share. SUA escrow stock, which traded under the symbol SGMA on the Nasdaq Capital Market, is now going to be delisted. That means if you were trading SGMA shares, they will no longer be available on that exchange. Now, whenever a company gets bought, especially in a deal like this, they have to clean up their financial house. One of the first things to go are existing loan agreements. SigmaTron had two major ones, the JPM credit agreement and the TCW term loan agreement. These were essentially big loans they had taken out. When the new owners took over, all of that debt was paid off. Think of it as a fresh start for the company's finances, but it also means those old lending relationships are now history. But it's not just loans. SigmaTron also had quite a few stock plans in place. These were schemes to give employees and directors options or restricted stock in the company. We're talking about things like the 1993 stock option plan, the 2004 employee stock option plan, the 2004 employee stock option plan, and several others from 2013, 2018, 2019, and 2021. All of these plans were terminated. For employees who held options or stock, this likely means those were cashed out or converted into cash as part of the acquisition deal. Scroll item 2.01, completion of acquisition or disposition of assets. 10 scroll codes. This officially marks the end of the road for SigmaTron as a publicly traded company. The whole process kicked off with a tender offer. That's a fancy term for a public offer to buy all the company's stock. The offer was for 3.020 cents per share. So anyone holding SigmaTron stock could sell it to the acquiring company for that price. This is the crucial number because it tells you what the buyers valued each share of the company at. The offer was a success. Over 71% of the company's shares were tendered, meaning more than enough stockholders agreed to sell their shares. This paved the way for the next step. After the stock offer was accepted by enough shareholders, the company officially merged. This merger means SigmaTron is now completely owned by its new parent company, Transom Access Acquire Co. It's no longer a separate entity. It's like it became a department within the larger company. For the shareholders who didn't sell during the initial tender offer, their shares were automatically converted into the right to receive that same $3.22 per share in any remaining shareholders. Now let's talk about those stock options we mentioned earlier. For any stock options that were still active, they were cashed out too. If the options price to buy shares was less than the $3 C-chim, they got nothing. This is a standard way to settle employee and executive stock option plans during a buyout. Similarly, any outstanding warrants to buy company stock were also converted into cash. Again, the payout was based on the difference between the warrants exercise price and the $3 Asian price. Any warrants with an exercise price higher than $3.20. Any warrants with an exercise price higher than 3 points were simply cancelled with no payout. Scroll item 3.01. Next, notice of delisting or failure to satisfy a continued listing rule or standard. Transfer of listing scroll as a consequence of the buyout. SigmaTron has officially asked Nasdaq to remove its shares from trading. This is why you won't see SGMA on Nasdaq anymore. They are also planning to file paperwork to end their reporting obligations with the SEC. This means they'll stop sending out those regular reports that we here at Corporate Decoder love to analyze. Scroll item 3.03, caption, material modification to rights of security holders. Tang scroll this section is pretty straightforward. Because of the merger, the rights of the former shareholders have changed dramatically. They no longer have rights as stockholders in an independent company. Their only remaining rights are to receive the cash payment or, if they met specific legal requirements, to seek appraisal rights, which means they could potentially argue for a different valuation of their shares in court. Scroll item 5101. Kenja's in control of registrant. Scrolly, this is the nail in the coffin for SigmaTron's independence. A change in control has officially occurred. The company is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Transom Capital Fund IV LP, which provided the cash for the whole deal. Scroll item 5102, Kenja departure of directors or certain officers, election of directors. Appointment of certain officers, scroll X scroll plea with a new owner. Comes a new leadership team. All the old directors except for Gary Arfair had resigned. In their place, Russell Roink, Rob Randolph and Nathan Dastick were appointed as new directors. The existing officers of the acquiring company merger sub now become the officers of SigmaTron. It's a clean sweep at the top. Scroll item 5103, amendment to articles of incorporation or bylaws, change in fiscal year scroll. Scroll, the company's foundational documents, its certificate of incorporation and bylaws have been updated to reflect the new ownership structure. These aren't just minor tweaks, they're likely rewritten to align with the parent company's governance. Looking at the broader picture, the acquisition of SigmaTron International by Transom Access, Acquire Co., represents a significant shift. The key takeaway here is the $3 to 2 sim per company. At the time of the deal, it's crucial to remember that this kind of takeout price is often influenced by strategic fit and potential synergies for the buyer, not just the standalone financial health of the company. The termination of all those stock plans and credit agreements signifies a complete reset. For SigmaTron, this marks the end of its life as an independent entity. The risk for investors is that they missed out on any potential future growth as a standalone company, but they were compensated with cash. The opportunity was for the acquirer to integrate SigmaTron into its own operations, potentially unlocking value through economies of scale or strategic alignment. The change in leadership also suggests a new direction, likely focused on integrating SigmaTron into its own operations, potentially unlocking value through economies of scale or strategic alignment. Alright, that's our breakdown of SigmaTron's exciting acquisition. What do you think about this kind of deal where a company just gets absorbed? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate investigations. And don't forget to join our Scroll